So last week we were at Watkins Glen. This week we're at Daytona. Bandit GT3 kicking off at the World Center of Racing. Green flag is out, and we are racing with Aiden Norman and Aaron Edwards on the front row, and everybody funneling down into turn number one. Dakota Pierce goes around in the AOL NSX. Terrible start for the 50. Aiden Norman and Aaron Edwards side by side going through the International Horseshoe, and everyone just trying to make it out clean on the other side. Aiden Norman and Aaron Edwards trying not to make contact, but racing really, really hard. Those are the top two already 1.5 seconds away from each other. And Trenton's Colin McDonough, last week's winner at Watkins Glen, he sits in third. And the top two now sprinting away. Colin McDonough in the second position. What happens to Aiden Norman? He sits in the 5th position now with damage on the front end of his 911, and it looks like the rear bumper missing. No, it's still on there. But what happened while we were on board with Colin McDonough? And one of the favorites to win this race, arguably one of the fastest drivers in this grid, starting his first GT3 race with us, already down to 7th. Aaron Edwards, 2 seconds ahead of Colin McDonough, who's fighting with Toby Estes for the 2nd position. And remember, this was the fight for the lead last week. They've picked up right where they left off. And the battle for second continues. Further on, Tommy Withers, Aiden Norman running 5th and 6th respectively. Norman's now going to try and use the draft and make that pass for the 5th position. Let's see what happened to Aiden Norman. This is in the bus stop. The red 62. Aiden Norman in the black and white 15 behind him. Is there contact? Nope. Norman goes by himself and hard into the barrier. On board again with Aiden Norman. And he continues. Aiden now finds himself in the 7th position. Steph in the chat asking, can we go 2 in a row? Colin McDonough just went purple in the purple Porsche. 147.40, but immediately Steven Choate just took that away from him. 146.94. Steven's run the fastest lap of anyone thus far. Him and Jimmy Kerr getting up to awesome battles for the 4th position last week, and now they're battling for 8th right now. 2nd place still up for grabs. There is the newly repaired Dakota Pierce. He runs in 12th. Colin McDonough and Toby Estes slugging it out again. Let's go on board with the Mustang. And Estes continues. He sits in third, McDonough in second, and 4 seconds ahead of all of this. 1 Aaron Edwards. And if you watch TNT, this sight might just look familiar. Aaron Edwards kind of just blowing away from the competition. Further on back, Norman's not done. He sits in 6th, 5 places down from where he started, obviously, after that incident. He's got Dylan Van Wart in the white Corvette to his inside, now going down the front straight. And Van Wart peels away from what is an otherwise beautiful-looking 911 that's gotten itself into quite a bit of trouble. This is 5th, 6th, and 7th with Withers in the Jumpman number 6 Corvette, now getting overtaken by Dylan Van Wart. And Norman almost stuck behind Withers while he accelerates away. Withers with the 8 cylinders, Norman with the 6. You do love to see battles like this, though. Corvette versus Porsche, Ford versus Corvette, Porsche versus Porsche versus Mustang. And into the bus stop. We'll see who gets the advantage this time. Colin McDonough in the 911, Toby Estes in the Mustang. This is 2nd and 3rd. Aaron Edwards peeling away. If you just tuned in, one of the race favorites already in trouble. Dylan Van Wart also in big trouble here. Last week's podium finisher backs it into the wall, headed into the bus stop, and I'm willing to bet it might have looked something like Aiden Norman's crash. This is on lap 4. Curbs got him. One more look at how it went for Aiden Norman, much the same way. 3 laps prior. North Carolinian by way of Seoul just hops that curb, and he catches more of the second one and puts him right into the barrier. So Dylan Van Wart is amongst talented competition when it comes to backing into the corner. And this guy, he's just among talented competition with everything. Toby Estes moves into 2nd on Colin McDonough. Let's have a look at that pass. Right into turn number 1, Colin goes wide. Toby takes the inside, and it's a textbook pass. The Greensburg native finds himself in the silver medal position. 5 laps of the scheduled 17 underway. Aaron Edwards, 6.5 seconds ahead. Dylan Van Wart currently in the pits. Further on back through the field, Tommy Withers now 9 seconds removed from this guy here, Cody Pennell. We haven't said anything about him. For a second, it was Toby Estes' photo right there, and I'm thinking, why in the world would I have Toby Estes' photo for Cody Pennell? That was hilarious. The Monroe native making his first Bandit GT3 start as well. We always love seeing Cody coming around. It is few and far between that we have Cody Pennell grace the racetrack with his presence, but he's here. He's having a good time. Currently 2 seconds behind Colin McDonough. Let's go further on back. Tommy Withers and Stephen Choate now getting close. Choate in the Mustang, Withers in the Corvette. And it's 5th place on the line, on board with Withers. Oh, big contact by Stephen Choate. Withers survives. Let's have a look at the front of Steve's car. He's got to have damage on that now. We'll wait for him to turn the corner and see if we can get a better look. You can see the back end of Withers' car, damage all over the back end of that. And Steven definitely pushed in the nose on that Mustang. Doesn't seem to have made him any slower. He's still on the attack behind Tommy Withers, coming out of the infield and towards NASCAR 1. Let's take a ride with Steve-O. Choked to 5th. Edwards in that time goes purple, 1:45.38. 7 laps of the scheduled 17 underway, and it's an 11-second gap back to Colin McDonough. Cody Pennell finds himself 0.7 of a second, 0.8 of a second behind Colin. And drivers now lining up their own individual battles. Tommy Withers, 0.7 behind Stephen Choate. Can he catch up? Jimmy Kerr III now trying to chase down Patrick Allen. This is 8th position on the line. Allen in the only Lamborghini in this field. Tommy Withers goes around. Tommy Withers has gone around. And there's the battle to Stephen Choate right there. Choate will walk away with 5th, and Withers will now have Briley Wright catching up. There's Wright in the number 3 Corvette. Tommy Withers in the number 6 Corvette. This is 6th place on the line. And did Toby Estes go around as well? This is into turn number 1. Oh, he goes in way too hot into the corner. Colin McDonough and Cody Pennell will get around him. Aiden Norman sits in 9th. Looks like he did come into the pits on lap number 4. Aaron Edwards leading by 12 seconds. Colin McDonough, 0.7, 0.8 now the gap back to Cody Pennell. These two fighting for second. Dakota Pierce in the NSX, the great-looking AOL NSX. Shout out to AOL, by the way. Did anybody actually watching this remember America Online? That was the jam, wasn't it? AIM, more specifically, but yeah. Good to see him bringing that back. Colin McDonough trying to stay ahead of Cody Pennell. 0.9 is the gap, and the P51 liveried Mustang. How cool is that, by the way? Chasing down this guy right here. This is 2nd place to be discussed between them. Cody Pennell, 0.8 of a second behind Colin McDonough. 2nd place on the line for them, and drivers trying to figure out their pit strategy. Meanwhile, Aiden Norman reeling in Patrick Allen. 1 second the gap and closing. Let's go on board with the 6-2. Aiden Norman easily moves into the 7th position. Colin McDonough, 0.4 of a second ahead of Cody Pennell. And Aaron Edwards just goes faster. 1:45.33. The number 15 Porsche leading by 14 seconds. And now 0.3 the gap. 2nd place between Colin McDonough and Cody Pennell. .2 for 2nd place. McDonough and Cody Pennell again trying to pull it together. Driver's going to make it approximately 15 laps on fuel. So about 5 laps to go between them. Will they decide to come in early? Patrick Allen also comes into the pits. We'll give these guys about one more straightaway here. We'll have to bring some of this back together. Let these guys know that it's okay to make some noise. Colin McDonough still with a great battle between himself and Cody Pennell through the bus stop. Pennell continues to put the chase on him. Aaron Edwards continues to go faster. 1:45.33. 10 laps now underway. McDonough and Pennell, 0.3 of a second. Will Cody give it one more shot? And if you just tuned in, this has been the hot pairing the last couple of laps. Cody Pennell trying to go around the outside through the International Horseshoe. 0.2 of a second coming out of the corner, and Pennell now trying to make it on the outside of the kink. And it looks like Colin McDonough will just have the advantage. Will Cody Pennell stay glued to the rear end of that Porsche? He will indeed, and Cody Pennell will now go into the second position. Aiden Norman just went purple. 1:45.19. Briley Wright is next on his list. Aaron Edwards, however, now coming into the bus stop. And he's just tearing away from the rest of the field. 17 seconds the gap. Cody Pennell already 0.6 of a second ahead of Colin McDonough. And we're going to go ahead and bring these boys back together. So it will be 7 to go when Aaron Edwards crosses the line. Caution lights lit up all over the racetrack. Patrick Allen just on the cusp of going a lap down, and I would avoid any sort of mischief here that might cost you a fast repair, Aaron, and he does. Aaron Edwards, Cody Pennell, Colin McDonough, your top 3. Riley Wright, Aiden Norman running 4th and 5th. So the drivers will come in. We'll see who gets what during the pits and who stays out. Toby Estes pitted on lap number 9. Stephen Choate pitted on lap number 9. Will the drivers come in? Will they stay out to get track position on what will presumably maybe a green-white checkered finish? I don't know. Let's bother this guy real quick. Let's see what's on his particular mind. Aaron Edwards, Rick James in the house. Can you hear me? Aaron Edwards, Rick James, you got me? All right, I think Aaron has me, but I don't have Aaron. Let's try this one more time. Aaron Edwards, Rick James.
Yeah, you fixed it yet?
I fixed it, buddy. I fixed it. I'm not good at technology. All these buttons scare me. Less good at math. Anyway, you're sitting in the lead, and if it wasn't for that magical caution that had come out, you probably would have won by a couple of zip codes. But what is that? Where? That just came out of nowhere. 17 seconds before the caution came out? That's crazy.
Well, that's all right. I saw some debris down there on the back, so caution was probably warranted there. But no, we're just setting a good pace, found a good balance with the car. Did have a little bit of concern starting to lose the rear of the car just a little bit, but we were adjusting for that. So yeah, no, it's having a lot of fun. Just trying to set a good pace and got to execute a pit stop here and maintain some track position.
Yeah, we'll let you get focused up for that pit stop. You got Cody Pennell behind you. Aiden Norman pitted on lap number 4. He's good to go in that fantastic-looking Porsche. Who was the favorite to win will undoubtedly be your biggest rival now. So what is the plan? How do you hold that off?
Yeah, so him wrecking, getting in the bus stop on lap 1 is probably going to get him a better shot at winning the race, which is crazy, but it's going to be fine. We can recover from it. It's not a big deal. We're just going to go out there and just do what we've been doing.
All right, buddy. Have fun. Good luck on this pit stop.
Yeah, thank you.
So the drivers will do what they do best. We shall do what we do best, which is absolutely nothing. I'm curious, genuinely curious to see who will stay out of those that have pitted. Briley Wright is in. Aiden Norman is out. He stays out. He pulled a couple of guys behind him. Norman, who pitted on lap number 4, thinks he's good to go to the end. He stays out. Well, let's talk to Aiden Norman real quick. Let's see what he's got on his mind. Aiden, Rick James in the house. Can you hear me?
I can.
Well, eyebrows have been raised with your crimson and golden Porsche 911 faking the entrance into pits. You only pitted on lap number 4. You think you've got the tires to win this race?
I honestly have no idea about the tire wear in these cars nowadays, but the reason I did this is I'm hoping to keep tire heat in, because I don't remember if these cars have tire blankets for these races. So if they all come out on cold tires, I think I'll be all right. If they come out on hot tires, yeah, I'm probably cooked.
We just saw the fake into pit lane. You almost took Dylan Van Wart with you as well. But as it runs, you're in first. Toby, who was poised to win last week, but for a last lap error, sits in second. Stephen Choate, Aaron Edwards in 4th. So he's going to be lining up in the row. Well, no, we do single file restarts here. So he's going to be lining up right behind a few cars behind.
Oh, it's single
you.
file?
Hey,
thanks for that information, buddy.
I have no idea. We make this up as we go along. I think it's single file.
That is true. We'll find out when the pace car hits the line next lap.
I suppose we will. But yeah, I have no idea. I guess we're going to figure this out. But right now, Aaron Edwards sits in that 4th position with us just making it up as we go along. I'm sure it's all about just getting the win, and you're not going to spend all this time not to win this race.
I mean, hopefully not. That's kind of the goal for coming out here, is to win. That's what everyone in this field wants to do. But again, I don't know how these tires are going to play out. So you might watch me do the same thing I did on lap 1.
Yeah, don't do that. Between you and Dylan Van
It was
Wart,
a fun ride.
You both did the exact same thing. Is you hit the curb and you went flying backwards into the barrier, but now you got a chance to redeem yourself, man. Keep it pointed in the right direction. Hopefully we talk to you at the end.
All right, I'm going to try my best.
And he's going to put on a fantastic show regardless. There goes Aiden Norman. This is on lap number 1. Goes right into the barrier. One more look with the 6.2. And Dylan Van Wart doing the exact same thing on lap number 4. With similar results. So Norman in control of the race thus far. Toby Estes being scored in 2nd, and we'll see what happens with the pace car this time by. If you just tuned in, Aaron Edwards was leading by 17 seconds when the caution came out. Everybody has come into the pits, and everybody can make it to the end on fuel from here. We'll see if the lights shut off. And they do. We're going green this time by Aiden Norman, Toby Estes, Stephen Choate, Aaron Edwards, Cody Pennell, Briley Wright, JK3, Jimmy Kerr the third, who, by the way, is celebrating a 40th birthday tomorrow. So shout out Jimmy. Happy birthday, Jimmy. Can we still say this? Can we say this bud's for you? We can do that, right? This bud's for you, Jimmy. Happy birthday. Happy 40th. He's going to be restarting in the third row next to Briley Wright, passing Dylan Van Wart. Briley Wright's going to be restarting there next to James Kerr. Colin McDonough runs in 8th. Patrick Allen in the 9th position. Dakota Pierce runs in the 10th position. Dylan Van Wart in 11th. Tommy Withers running in 12th. Still in the pits, but motionless. He's going to get a move on if he wants to catch up for this restart. Stephen Choate trying to destroy the floor of his Mustang before we even get racing again. That's Steve not. Hey, we got the. No, we don't. We had them back for a split second. Well, and I think that might just be the end of tonight's festivities. What in the world just happened? All right, we'll see if we can get this fixed. All right, thanks for sticking with me. So we've lost the stream here. We're going to try and bring the cars back up, but we're not going to have that bit that we missed, and I think we've missed several race cars here. But again, thank you so much for sticking with me. We're going to try and bring these race cars back as best we can. And hopefully, we haven't missed the majority of racing here. Well, and we don't have any cars, so let's see if we can get this fixed up. All right, we might have to run this in a windowed mode here, but I think we finally got something back. Let's try this again. Oh, and that's back up. And we do have cars again. That is really, really disappointing. Nonetheless there. So Aiden Norman scored in the lead by 4 seconds with coming to, what, 2 laps to go. The joys of electronics, I tell you. Genuinely the joys of electronics. Yeah, Emily's got it right. She says, I pop in and it's disarray. Yeah, just, Emily, the screen goes black. We lost the race cars. Aiden Norman is coming to 2 laps to go with a 4-second lead over Cody Pennell. Colin McDonough is 7/10 behind him. I've got half a mind just to throw the yellow flag again and bunch these guys back up. You know what? That would actually be kind of a jerk move to make, but... Well, and there's the entire iRacing window that we don't need. Okay. Yeah, no idea how any of this is running smoothly. Let's see if we can get this fixed one more time. Stephen Choate and Toby Estes, however, going to work. Coming to their own 2 laps to go. This is 6th place. Emily says, do it. Just throw the caution. Cody Pennell, Colin McDonough, 6/10 apart. Aiden Norman, 4 seconds ahead in the lead. That really would be a jerk move, wouldn't it? Well, hang on. Let's see what... You know what? Okay, racing is still in a windowed mode here, unfortunately. So we'll have to get that fixed up again, but lo and behold, the yellow flag flies at Daytona. Aiden Norman with a 6-second gap ahead of Cody Pennell with Colin McDonough behind him. Dakota Pierce now catching up to Patrick Allen in the 45, whose Lamborghini is now magically yellow. Stephen Choate, Aaron Edwards, Colin McDonough running 5th, 4th, and 3rd. McDonough will have one more shot at Cody Pennell. And you know what? We haven't spoken to Cody Pennell all evening. Let's see if we can bother him real quick as the caution comes out. Cody Pennell, Rick James up top. Can you hear me?
I got you, Rick.
Well, the caution just magically flies out at Daytona, giving you another shot at the win. How do you fancy that?
Well, I hope I can keep these tires up to temp under caution, or I'm probably just going to wad the entire field up. So we'll see how it goes.
See how it goes. And to honestly, the behest of myself and Emily Seeger, you can blame us both for that. Me losing everything for the last lap and a half. I'm hoping it doesn't happen again. But that combined with Aiden peeling away with a 4-second lead, just why not? Why not just bring everybody back together for this?
Hey, I'm all for it. It makes it interesting right here.
It does make it interesting. Speaking of interesting, let's see if we can hear from the man himself. One Aiden Norman, who was leading this race by an Aaron Edwards size lead, as it makes no difference. Aiden, welcome to the booth. You get another shot to defend your lead against Cody.
Yeah, I'm a little worried because it looked like he got his tires up to temp a lot quicker than I did on that last restart. I think the only reason I pulled out a lead was because I was in control. But we'll see what I can do here.
We'll see what we can do. We'll also try and fix this windowed iRacing mode. You go ahead and let the drivers know. We're gonna go. We're gonna make it quick here. We're gonna go 1 to green when the pace car crosses the line. You two have fun, and thanks for coming out on your Monday night, boys.
Of course, appreciate it, Rick.
All right. So for those of you that just tuned in, welcome to Bandit GT3. We really do make it up as we go along because we can. Why the hell not? The whole series came when Toby Estes decided, hey man, let's have a GT3 series, and I said, okay, why not? So we put the idea together in genuinely about a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. And we said, okay, let's have something after Mazda Monday. So I guess in that spirit of very much let's throw it together and see what happens on Monday nights, here we are again, except in Mazdas we're doing GT3 cars. But the racing's a little bit more serious, but it's still the same kind of fun. And these guys are really having the time of their life, flashing their headlights all over the place. So we're going to try and fix this windowed mode here. Matter of fact, we can also take these pre-roll ads off. So let's do this. Let's take a 60-second break, and we'll try and come back, and hopefully we don't lose the race cars again. Don't go anywhere. All right, we got our cars back. We got our audio back. What's the old saying? It's not a Rick James stream if something doesn't go wrong. Well, this time it wasn't my fault. I promise that. You know what? And truth be told, it probably is my fault. Maybe I'm just trying to use too much RAM here. Anyway, in any case, we will have 2 more circuits to go at Daytona. Aiden Norman and Cody Pennell will line up side by side. And keeping the tires hot is the name of the game, as it were. And before we do go green, shout out to the good folks at Drip Diecast that keep us going year in and year out. If you need a piece of NASCAR diecast, just sports memorabilia in general, head on over to Drip Diecast. They are your #1 eBay store for all sorts of NASCAR memorabilia and sports memorabilia in general. Drip Diecast on eBay, your #1 store for all sorts of NASCAR memorabilia. Check them out. They keep us going every single year, every week, everything that we do. So Aiden Norman will have control of the field. Cody Pennell on his outside in that red Mustang. Colin McDonough sitting in 3rd. And Aaron Edwards in 4th. 3 of the top 5 are Porsches. 2 of them Fords. And we'll see in about 7 miles who gets everything. Hopefully the technology lasts between here and then. And I'm getting a bunch of notifications about dropped frames. Well, let's hope it all holds together. Aiden Norman and Cody Pennell restart at Daytona. Norman off to a fantastic restart, but he cannot make any mistakes like he did in that bus stop. Colin McDonough to the inside of Aaron Edwards. This is third place up for discussion. Aaron Edwards gets a great launch out of the International Horseshoe. It goes Norman, Pennell, Edwards, 1, 2, 3, Seeger in the chat. Emily Seeger, that is. Talking about the purple machine of Colin McDonough, who almost gets a bootful from Toby Estes in the Mustang. Stephen Choate now walking away with fourth, and Colin trying to stay in the top 5. Meanwhile, Aiden goes wide. Cody Pennell to his inside. And they race for the lead. Here comes Aaron Edwards. To the bus stop, Cody Pennell with the advantage. Aiden Norman still behind him. Aaron Edwards in third, and Stephen Choate follows. There goes Cody Pennell. He spins on cold tires out of the bus stop, and the lead thrown away. Aiden Norman, Aaron Edwards, white flag this time. Norman with the advantage. There goes Aaron Edwards trying to squeeze him down. Norman not giving any more room than he has to, and it's Norman with the advantage out of turn number 1. Edwards chases Stephen Choate in third. Toby Estes wants that top Ford position. Aaron Edwards 1 second behind Aiden Norman out of the International Horseshoe. Drivers throwing up grass everywhere. Aiden Norman walking away with this one. Aaron Edwards, he's got to get a great exit out of the infield. Stephen Choate, Toby Estes, and Colin McDonough all in the running for third. Cody Pennell in the 11th position. And I think Cody has just towed it to the pits. He says that's it for him. In a last lap battle that ended almost right here in the bus stop, Aiden Norman has to tiptoe through here. He can't make mistakes. That's the curb that got him last time. Gingerly going through. Look at that. He catches air coming off that final curb. And you just tense up for a moment because you think that could be it. What happened to Aaron Edwards? He spun. Did Aaron Edwards spin out of the bus stop? Stephen Choate's in second. Toby Estes in third. Colin McDonough in fourth. Aiden Norman will cross the line and win. Stephen Choate, Toby Estes battling for second, and Choate just beats Toby Estes to the line. Aiden Norman wins at Daytona in what was one of the most fun sprints you're going to see in a really, really long time. How about that? This comeback might be longer than we thought. Comes out of semi-retirement to win last Thursday in Thursday Night Thunder, and now he's a winner Monday night in Bandit GT3. Let's go back to Aaron Edwards through the bus stop. We were just saying that Aiden has to tiptoe through the bus stop. Aiden, no, did he miss it? Did Edwards miss it? Let's go on board. Edwards missed the barrier. He was going to get the penalty, and he just decided to call it quits. So Aiden Norman will celebrate victoriously in the infield. And he's going to flash his lights the whole way around the circuit. We're going to get our top 3 in the podium. Don't go anywhere. Aiden Norman, Stephen Choate, Toby Estes. We'll talk to them in just a sec. on the podium with our top 3 after a really fun GT3 race. Let's start with Greensburg, Kentucky's Toby Estes, who scores the bronze medal finish tonight. Toby, how about that? Last week, what ended as a disappointing finish outside of the podium. Now you redeem yourself with a 3rd place. That's one better, man. Did you have fun?
There, stripping gears and drinking beers tonight. Definitely spun it out a couple times, but you'll have that on them big jobs, I reckon.
You and Steven were putting on a show, man. Those Mustangs are something to watch, man. You guys were having a great time out there. We had to bring you together a couple of times, but it was a great time. And then next week, Road Atlanta. Are we going to see you there as well?
Yeah, and I was hoping there I would get a good enough run coming out of the bus stop to be able to push Steven, but old me, just not getting a good enough run coming out, and it's a shame. It'd been really cool to see the Mustangs finish 1-2 there, but Porsche got us.
Let's talk to our 2nd place finisher, Steven Choate. Man, what was it? Last week 4th, now you're 2nd. How do you fancy your chances next week for Road Atlanta?
Well, I'm nothing if not consistent, because I believe I got 3rd last week, or was it 4th? But I can't quite remember.
It might have been 3rd. I have no idea. It might have been 3rd after Toby spun. I'm not sure.
And then come away with the top 5.
One better. Now you just gotta show up to. Yeah, now you just gotta show up next week to Road Atlanta, beat Aiden Norman. No big deal.
Yeah, I almost got the win. He had to slow down there at the end, but I think he just got it cleared right as he was crossing the line. So, but I would have rather passed him rather than got it off of the penalty. So he had a hell of a car. Me and Toby were definitely having some struggles with the cold tires and stuff, but we were able to come back and get a top 3 finish for us too. So that's good.
We'll see you in a week's time. Let's talk to our race winner who just sailed over that bus stop curb. Aiden, just when I was saying you need to tiptoe through the bus stop, you barely made it through, and the fella behind you, Aaron Edwards, missed the barrier altogether. How hard is that bus stop to get through at speed?
This is I think only my 2nd time running this track since they updated it. I missed the old bus stop because that thing is horrifying. It is a completely different beast to what it used to be. So that was an interesting little run there. I think, I'm not sure. Probably more than half the field died in that part of the track tonight. I know myself, Edwards, and Pinnell all did. So
it was a good show. You guys look good out there. Your car especially. That livery is fantastic. But now you got to go defend the win. Matter of fact, I'm so geeked about the racing tonight, I didn't even bother to look at the points heading into Road Atlanta next week. But are we going to see you there?
Maybe. This was pretty fun. So I might end up showing back up, see what I can do, see if I can't get me another win. Why not?
You got to bring this Porsche back in a different color. Looking at the points here, Colin McDonough and Steven Choate are tied for 1st at 17. You're 6 points off of them with 11 points in 4th. Toby finds himself 3rd in the standings, just 2 markers off of that 2-way for 1st. I'm really hoping we're going to see you next week at Road Atlanta. What about Richmond? We got TNT coming up on Thursday. We going to see you at Richmond as well?
I don't know. I'm starting to have a lot more fun getting back into the race, and now I'm finally settled in. So I might end up showing up, even though I told you last week in TNT that I probably wasn't going to show up. But I'm all over the place. Might show up, might not. Although after hearing the point standings for this series, I might have to keep showing up because there's a chance I can get the championship in this one. TNT, that ship's already sailed. But
hey, 1 point per position. Who knows? We might just see you. We might just see you at the top of the standings a few weeks from now. But one race at a time, man. I'm glad you had fun. Congratulations on that win, and we'll see you in a week's time. Appreciate it, Rick. Well, fans at home, that was fun. Sorry about the technical difficulties. I have no idea what